We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Busella.
and I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2054, and today we talk about its case study number 1. This week we're going to do 5 case studies of actual, real, live, very successful Land Academy members, all of whom have we've interviewed on the podcast in the past. Some in the distant past, some very recently. We did not seek out their approval to use their names. So we're going to use their initials. I'm sure it would be okay too in every single case.
We're just going to talk about them as just an individual. This individual will do that. So it'll be fun.
They're cool. 5 very different. They're very different people from very different places that have one thing in common, and a lot of, I think, personality attributes that are common that lead to their success buying and selling land. And they're interesting stories. They're interesting social stories. So much of what we talk about on the show is kind of driven by me and data and analysis and reviewing lands from a technical standpoint, largely because I write the content and I'm the producer for the show. Jill's always been kind of the guest. And so this week, all week, we're going to take one case study each day. And Jill's going to talk about the social components because she knows these people very, very well. And we'll both will. Why.
But the main thing I want you to learn this week is, and through these stories is like, oh, that makes me think of me. I hope that you pick out little nuggets of what sounds like you and your personality, and you can see how to use that as an attribute to be successful at this.
On Monday, today, we're going to talk about a social media expert who's turned a land flipping millionaire. She's in Land Academy Pro.
My ladies group, all kinds of good stuff.
And yeah, exactly. And all 5 examples here are former career path members. They've gone through our career path. Case study 2 is we talk about professional Canadian couple who flip at least 5 properties a month from a different country. Think about that for a second. On Wednesday, case study 3, we talk about a former global pharmaceutical brand manager who turned land investor and then kind of shoved it all into her husband's lap. So he's the one, these are all current members. So we see them on the Thursday call, and he's the one who shows up for the calls and kind of runs the whole company. On Thursday, case study 4, we'll talk about 2 first-generation European people who came to this country not speaking this language and made this work out. Talk about things to overcome. And then Friday, finally, we talk about a young, outgoing Southern Californian who really focuses on 1, possibly 2 counties and does extremely well.
True.
These are very vocal members in our group, so we're both qualified to talk about them. Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by your request.
Cool. All right. So Kimberly wrote, that's so actually I saw that too.
This is for you.
This is just a little, so it's not really a question today. It's just a little kudos. Kimberly said, I just want to say how much I'm loving the Airtable CRM. Thanks, team. This is so helpful.
Jill has spent years chipping away and improving, let's say, the original CRM that I created decades ago, and just the framework of it. I actually wrote the software and all of that in a relational database. So we use Airtable now, and she and her land flipping team have just made it what it deserves to be.
It's a free tool that we provide to you in Land Academy, which is really nice. You could sit down, have something ready to go, work with, start inputting your properties today, and have a system, and it helps keep you on track and see where you are and manage your money and your deals and especially your due diligence. Took a lot of time filling all that in, so I'm glad. Thank you, Kimberly.
What it really allows you to do is to, if you have a team, manage a team, and if you are using our Land Academy Pro members, use our staff to close your deals. So it eliminates almost all of the communication between you and your staff and your let's say any vendors that you might be using.
Why don't we use this for our day-to-day life?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. We're pretty good about, we use calendars. Like, we don't talk about stuff. Like, I'll schedule where we're going to dinner and when we're going to dinner and just put it on there, and it's up to him to accept or decline the invitations. I was just thinking it would not be bad. I'm actually shocked you haven't brought this to me before. Like, we could just roll our lives into an Airtable base.
I think the vast majority of the stuff that we don't want to talk about gets communicated through email, texting, or Teams, or the all that. So I think we're there, like, spiritually. We're there.
Yeah, I might take it to the
Could
next
be more
level.
Efficient.
I see you didn't check off the 3 things I put on your Airtable base to get done today.
Joe, you're not the only one in this relationship who wants to reduce inefficient communication.
Oh, I know. It's really for you more than me.
Oh, right. That's what she does.
Uh-huh.
She says that. It's all my idea.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
Today's topic, well, it's Monday, and we're going to talk about this case study number 1. She came to us years ago. Joe, why don't you give us a breakdown of?
She came to us about, it was either a year and a half or 2.5 years ago. I can't remember. Summertime before Career Path, and came to us from another group and had done really well building up a lot of terms properties where she was owner financing a bunch of properties, and collecting. She probably had 70 or 100 of these deals, collecting anywhere from I think $199 to $399, something like that a month, and making great money. Everything was awesome, but she had to build up a team to manage these customers, if you will. And she just said, it's killing me. I said, I get it. And I could say, because we've done that in the past too.
Yeah.
I said, been there, done that. Nothing is more frustrating than chasing people for $230 a month, and because that's all they have. The reason that they're doing these payments is because that's how they can afford to buy some land. And it's so often that, it's never one perfect month. There's always going to be someone that there's a payment missed, or their paycheck is going to be something happened, or their car broke down and they need to move this and move that. There's always something. That's why you need a staff for that. And so she's like, I know there's a better way. I said, all right. So we talked about it and helped her kind of bundle them. I said, here's what I would do first. Call everyone, see how much they have, and sell it to them. Let's get out from it, and then we'll bundle up the rest and figure out what to do. Maybe sell them off. And so anyway, she came to Land Academy, and immediately the very next session of Career Path jumped in. So a couple things I want to say about this individual is she has no fear, and she goes right for the top. And I really respect that. That's part of how I roll too, and it wasn't always that way. I would have I don't know if I belong in this room. This individual knows she belongs in that room, and if not, she's gonna keep up and make sure she belongs in that room and just goes for it. And I love that. She's never looked back.
On the front end of these examples, the outcome is all the same. There's a user interface here, if you're in computer speak. And so how this is manifesting, her success is manifesting itself in one specific way for her. But the stuff behind it, how she got all the way to the point where she's being successful buying and selling land, is very consistent with the other 4 people that we'll talk about this week. And really, I think, in general, people that are successful at doing this.
True.
When people come to us from another group and they say, I have very successfully done fill in the blank, in her case, it's buying land
built up a whole book of
on
terms payments,
on term sales, which is infinitely harder to manage and do successfully than what we do, which is buy for cash and sell for cash. I get excited because if she can do that, I know how much work this takes. If she can successfully do that, then then that happened. It was like the curtain opened and the light bulb went off, and she said, oh, this is how you do this. You buy for 20, sell for 60.
Right. And you get your 40,000 profit. Now that's the biggest thing. Just a side note, why would you not do that? Well, think about it. You can get in one transaction, get $40,000 in profit, like he just said. I think that was a math. But anyway, And then versus $299 a month for 10 years. Let's think about that. How long does that take? And if they would pay, which we know from experience, they often fall off, and you're stuck doing it all over again. And it just takes so long to get build up a good bank balance.
I've always been fascinated with the allure of collecting payments on real estate.
I think,
and not just land, but it's everywhere on the internet. And I think the concept of rent has been going on since the beginning of time.
True.
Since people have had shelter that far back. So, and I just think I understand on a very large scale, like an office building or a Class A apartment complex or series of apartment complexes where you can put people in place. You can afford to put people in place to manage that. The tenants, and what are the tenants, termites and toilets or whatever they say on the internet. And so you're not involved in that. You're a deal maker. The two talents here are creating a real estate deal, which is what we're very good at for a bunch of reasons. And then there's another complete different talent, which is managing tenants. Those things don't go together. And so I understand buying an office building very, very inexpensively and capitalizing it correctly and doing all that. I don't understand. You can never have the same talent and then go manage tenants.
That's why you have to bring in leasing agents, and that's why you have to bring in, property managers and things like that.
That's why it fails so much.
Well, the big picture is, like you just touched on, though, I like to just focus is that's all those customers can afford. What kind of customer do you want to work with? Because let me tell you, there's plenty of customers that can write those $60,000 checks like Jack just mentioned. That's who I prefer to work with. So, but back to this individual, she quickly, she had no trouble. I want to wrap up. I should say, focus/wrap up on some of the key traits that she had that made her unique and successful.
Sure.
One is she had no trouble changing gears. She was like, okay, I'll take my payment hat on and I'm going to put on I'm now going, I'm only taking cash hat on. And it wasn't hard. She asked a lot of questions. She still does. That's in her nature. And I think it's great. And partially because she never wants to stop learning. She's like, okay, I perfected that. Now what? Now I'm going to perfect that. Now what? And she's so involved in everything, all of our groups and everything we do and every career path going forward, because she's like, I'm going to learn something about this type of property and about that type of property. And that's what we're watching her do too. She's moving into all these different products, which is really amazing.
Every time she's in LA Pro, Land Academy Pro, so we see her once a month or once every other week, I guess. And we all get together and look at deals and talk about stuff. And so we had a lot of FaceTime with her and the other Land Academy Pro members. And the one thing that strikes me about her is she always has like 8 or 10 questions every single session, and probably 4 or 5 properties for us to look at. And those are the ones that she's on the fence about. They're not the ones that are slam dunks that she's pushing through the system. So she is fearless. She's just a machine, and she doesn't have any real emotion. She's just and I think emotion can really stop people from doing a lot of things in life. So the lack of emotion is how you become successful.
And we've come full circle back to we're gonna move our whole social everything into an Airtable base.
So that was your idea, not mine. And it's a good idea. I'm going to work on this
We'll
today.
wrap it up on that. So talk about taking emotion out.
I want you to mentally build a list if hopefully you're going to listen to all 5.
Well, we have 5 shows to talk about.
All 5 examples. I want us to mentally build a list. Right? Number 1, she came to Land Academy and she came to this business already being successful at something else.
Yeah.
She's a current business owner in social media. Number 1. Number 2, huge, dynamic, involved personality. I bet she's on the phone 4 to 5 hours a day. And when a deal's not going her way, she does all kinds of stuff. This is what Jill does too. Jill could be the 6th case study. I toyed with making you Friday case study because Jill has all that, every single one of these traits. So she came to us with already successful businesses or experience or just generally successful at what she's done. And number 2, amazing dynamic personality. And there's other things too, but number 3,
stuff we can't say.
The phone. She is on the phone all the time, solving problems and creating deals.
Thank you.
3 things.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Join us tomorrow where we look at case study number 2, a professional Canadian couple who flipped 5+ properties a month. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.